In 1513, an exiled politician wrote a book that the church banned, philosophers condemned, and kings secretly read by candlelight. This book revealed the rules of the game that everyone knew but no one spoke about openly. 500 years later, these rules still work. In offices, in negotiations, in relationships. Today, I'm going to show you 7 Machiavellian influence techniques that people use on you every single day. And the scariest part? You don't even notice it. Stay until the end. The 7th technique is so powerful that I seriously debated whether I should even talk about it. Niccolo Machiavelli wasn't a villain. He was a realist. While other philosophers wrote about how the world should be, Machiavelli described the world as it is. His main insight: power isn't given to those who deserve it. Power is taken by those who understand its mechanics. And before you think, "This isn't for me, I'm not a manipulator," remember, knowing these techniques isn't a call to use them. It's a vaccine. You can't defend yourself against what you can't see. So let's start with the first technique that Machiavelli considered the foundation of all influence. Technique number 1, controlled unpredictability. Machiavelli wrote, "People are ruled by the fear of the unknown more than the fear of a known threat." Here's how this works in reality. Imagine 2 bosses. The first one is predictable. He always yells. He's always dissatisfied. After a month, you just stop reacting. The second boss is unpredictable. Today he's nice, tomorrow he's cold, the day after, friendly again. Guess which one controls the team more effectively? Unpredictability keeps people on edge. They can't adapt. They're constantly trying to guess your mood, your desires, your next reaction. How it's used on you. Brands change their sales and discounts without a pattern. You constantly check their website. People ignore your messages sometimes, then respond instantly. You think about them more. Negotiators suddenly change terms. You lose your confidence. How to defend yourself? Focus on objective criteria, not on a person's mood. Set clear boundaries and stick to them regardless of how the other person behaves. Technique number 2, creating necessity. Machiavelli understood a simple truth. No one values what they can live without. So masters of influence don't just offer something valuable, they make you feel like you can't live without it. Classic example from The Prince. Machiavelli advised rulers to sometimes create external threats so the people would realize their need for a strong leader. Modern examples: tech companies create ecosystems. Try leaving iPhone when you have a Mac, iPad, and AirPods. Colleagues take on tasks nobody asked them to do, then become indispensable people in relationships, solve problems you didn't know you had. Now, you depend on them. The formula is simple. 1. Find or create a problem. 2. Become the only solution. 3. Amplify awareness of the problem. Defense. Regularly ask yourself, is this a real necessity or a created one? Always have a plan B. Technique 3. Strategic generosity. This is the most dangerous technique because it looks like kindness. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise ruler gives people just enough to make them feel grateful, but not enough to make them independent." Sounds cynical? Look around. How it works. A manager gives you a small raise, enough for you to feel recognized, but not enough for you to stop needing the next one. You're grateful, you're loyal, you work harder. Or an acquaintance does you small favors constantly, not big enough to make you uncomfortable, but sufficient to make you feel indebted. When they ask for a serious favor, you can't refuse. The key point: it's not about the size of the gift, it's about timing and frequency. Many small favors create a greater sense of obligation than one large one. Defense: the principle of equal exchange. When someone does you a favor, reciprocate quickly and equivalently. Don't accumulate debts of gratitude. Notice the pattern? All these techniques use psychology, not force. And the next three are even more subtle. Technique number 4 is my favorite because it's used by absolutely every successful negotiator. Technique 4: illusion of choice. Machiavelli knew people hate being ordered around, but they love making decisions, even if those decisions are false. Instead of "do this," a master of influence says, "Do you want to do this now or after lunch?" Formally, you have a choice. In reality, both options lead to what the manipulator wants. Examples are everywhere. Should we meet Tuesday or Wednesday? The alternative of maybe not meet at all is excluded. In restaurant menus, the most expensive dish makes the second priciest look attractive. You choose from what they gave you to choose from. Politicians create debates between two bad options. You forget there's a third one. The psychology. When we make a choice, we feel control. That's endorphins. Our brain focuses on the process of choosing, not on who created the options. How to defend yourself. Always ask, what option is not being presented? Create your own third option. Technique 5: manage conflict. This is for advanced players. Machiavelli advised, divide and conquer, but do it so that both sides need you as the arbiter. What it looks like in practice: a manager creates light competition between two employees. Not open warfare, just mild rivalry. The result? Both work harder, both come to him for support, he controls both. Or in a friend group, there's someone who accidentally mentions to A in front of B what C said. Not gossip, just, by the way, did you know? The result? They're at the center of all information. They're the mediator. They're indispensable. Warning: this is a dangerous technique. It can backfire. Machiavelli warned, use only if you can completely control the situation. Defense: direct communication. When someone tells you about a third person, go and verify directly. Remove the middleman. Technique 6: anchoring through contrast. Machiavelli wrote, "After winter, spring seems more beautiful. After a tyrant, a moderate ruler seems like a saint." Everything is relative, and masters of influence know this. Classic sales scheme. First, they show you a product for $5,000. You're shocked. Then, specially for you, they find an option for $2,000. You feel relief. You buy, even though you originally planned to spend $500. Or in relationships, a person behaves terribly for a week, then one day, normal. You're grateful for normal. You forgot that normal should be the standard, not a gift. The formula: 1. Set an inflated anchor. Price, expectation, standard. 2. Offer a compromise. 3. Watch people rejoice over a worse option than they originally planned. Defense: know your own standards before negotiations begin. Write them down. Don't change them based on contrast. And finally, Technique 7: the most powerful: voluntary dependence. Machiavelli called this the art of being necessary while remaining invisible. Here's how it works. Instead of demanding power, you make people voluntarily give you control. And the key? They think it was their idea. Real example: a new employee joins a company. He doesn't fight for power. He just takes on small tasks that nobody wants to do. organizing meetings, taking notes, coordinating. 6 months later, all communication goes through him. He knows everything. He's not the boss. He's indispensable. Bosses come and go. He stays. Why this is dangerous? Because you don't feel manipulation. You feel convenience. You feel help. You voluntarily hand over control in exchange for comfort. Machiavelli warned, "The most perfect power is the one people don't realize exists." Defense. Regularly audit your dependencies. Ask, what would happen if this person, service, system disappeared? If the answer scares you, diversify. So we've covered 7 Machiavellian influence techniques that work today. 1. Controlled unpredictability. 2. Creating necessity. 3. Strategic generosity. 4. Illusion of choice. 5. Managed conflict. 6. Anchoring through contrast. 7. Voluntary dependence. The question isn't whether these techniques will be used. They're already being used. On you, right now, in different areas of your life. The question is, now that you can see them, what are you going to do? Machiavelli believed that knowledge is power, not knowledge for knowledge's sake, knowledge for action. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button. If you want more content like this about the psychology of power and influence, subscribe. And in the comments, tell me, which technique did you recognize in your own life? Which of the 7 is used on you most often? See you in the next video. And remember, awareness is the first step to freedom.